think it comes down to who are you looking at? Are you looking at the job and family service side of us, or are you looking at the want? I'm wondering if that's on there twice. Technically.
Did you have Jennifer last year?
Yeah, it was just one. We did it for 3 years. And she said, which meant just, it's just that speech on her. We still had IDs.
Yes. Usually, get rid of those,
Very excited.
yeah.
I gotta find out, you know.
That's what
Right.
I.
I don't know what's saying about that started. Without saying that they're not gonna. That states are cruisers.
I have no problem with you. That's maybe great.
Roll out of here in 1 hour, best we can. All right, stand for the pledge of allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America,
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
John, you said that way too fast. It's not respectful.
Roll call, Miss Ashland is here, Mr. Kirschner is here.
Thank you, Nate.
We have all of our guests of honor
You
here.
just want me to shut this when we're done?
Yeah, just show them. We should be all set. Thank
Good
you.
deal.
Thank you. for
Thank you.
inviting us.
Okay, we have a meeting agenda. You've all seen that? Any issues with the agenda? Move to accept the agenda as presented.
You want to put the meeting minutes in there?
Yes, I can do that.
I don't care.
All right. Let me get on the right. Yeah, let me add item, we will say, B1 is agenda approved, excuse me, minutes. Okay, we'll go into that. So the only change I have is to add B1 to the agenda, so I can go over the minutes from last time, which are very brief. Any other changes? All right, I move that we accept the agenda as presented.
Oh, man.
All right, I guess that's it, since there's two of us, not very familiar with two-person meetings. Okay, so last time,
Let me ask you something. The last time that we did this last year,
we did it a week ago, but yes, we
No,
did it way back.
with that group,
That was a year and a half ago, yes.
With- okay, when OC was at the table and you
Yes.
invited Jim and Leah, are you just expecting, I asked this the last time, just you two to second and first things? How are you wishing how this to run?
I don't know, that's a good question. I don't have an answer for that. Like, what, do we want to expand the committee to include other people?
I don't know.
Um,
How would you wish for us to participate with you? I guess if you.
I would say if anyone wants to hold a chair, then that would give you
that was
less
their
of,
turn point, I think,
yeah.
so we could do that.
We're very appreciative that you invited us to the table, so thank you.
So,
Would anyone be interested in that position? Just no one has to. No one has to say yes. I just was offering
can
it up.
always-
I'm like, I'll just offer it up if
You
people
can
want it.
always just.
I'm barely treading water.
Right, you can always just email us if you have someone you point So, the biggest thing is we're just here for feedback, and other board members are always welcome to attend. We're holding these as board meetings, so we can accommodate that. Last week, we met, or last week, on April 13th, we met to establish some structure and expectations. We affirmed our role that we were going to review and recommend policies, but not act on behalf of the board unless authorized. We are appointed annually by the board president or by the majority of board members as defined in board policy. The committee agreed on a need for a more organized system moving forward, and prioritizing legal required policy updates first, and develop a structured policy review cycle, possibly working through the policy manual every year. Identifying policies requiring annual review, maintain a priority checklist of upcoming policies, and ensure all policy changes are presented with redline versions so we can keep track of what's where. And we keep our policies at a governance level. Also, administrative details. Our policies, depending, like we have our policies that are board level and our policies that are school level, which would be admin. But anyway, we talk about transparency, use of legal and OSBA, and of course, the key issue was ICGC, which was what we mainly focused on. And key takeaways from that was tuition changed significantly, impacting enrollment, notably at a higher rate than we went back to the 50 after we realized that it was a conflict with our board policy. We want to develop full and accurate policy revisions so that first read is accurate, and establish a monthly meeting schedule. So that's what we covered. Anybody have any corrections, additions, or you forgot from what we talked about? Okay, that's it. There is the agenda. And next is we've approved the agenda, and we are off to the races. I think everybody knows everybody here. You've all been introduced. So let's dig in to the policies. So the idea of the policies is what we're trying to accomplish is more flexibility for the district to affect tuition. Tuition will be approved by the board prior to enrollment. I think the preference is not to make changes during the school year and to drill down into the enrollment process. And if we lose participants, hopefully we will contact them and try to retain them. Board policy states that the fee is $50 for peer role models, and we want to address that. Ashley, I think, had comparisons of half day for more like 100 and 125. And we clarified, we thought there wasn't, some of us thought there was not transportation except for special needs, but we have found out thanks to your input that we do in fact transport. So that's kind of where we're at. So you want to start with their input?
Yeah.
Okay, so you all have some red lines, some notes, anything you want to bring forward to us regarding the policy?
I'll just say that I was happy that we were streamlining it because as the preschool programs have expanded, then we've started building it to two sets of governing bodies. So if it's too specific and say Job and Family Services changes something, we have to go in and change the whole policy. The same as if OU changes something, we change the whole policy. So if the vaguer it is within some specificity, the easier it will be for us to monitor it. The other thing is, I don't believe that people left because of money. I don't think so. At least that's not anything that
I've heard that from numerous people
Okay.
personally. I would say I know that as a fact.
Okay.
When they come in for their screening, they sign the tuition agreement, and so I would say this is the $200 tuition agreement, and we talked about it. We didn't even assess the child.
Okay, so then that's why it didn't go. Okay.
Yes, they just left, and this happened like a year ago, spring because that's when we thought it was 200, and then in the fall.
So when
That-
they were down to the 200 a month, they
Yeah.
walked out,
Yeah, they just, yeah,
which is still very cheap.
yes, yes.
For any kind of,
So if I summarize it and said, you're happy that we're doing revisions because our policy was too specific. Okay. And we got the money thing. So, one thing I figured out that I didn't know before about our policies is we have policies about our policies. The letter R, policies, not our. So an R policy, if it's a district R policy, it's ours. If it's a preschool building R policy, it's the administration that sets that. So as we get down into this one, I think we focus on the main one, and then it's your job to figure out all the little intricacies. Is that, she's making a face. So
I
yeah,
didn't know that tonight.
I didn't either. I actually just got educated on that one today.
We
So,
kind of call it guidance. So like, what is it like? So like
Yeah.
the specificities of what those rooms look like, or what I would do Brenda in my family one to say, you have to have 8 of this. 8 of that.
so yeah, I was busy scribbling on the back of what I needed to do. But, so yeah, so CHA, it gets confusing because you have to read it several times. The board delegates to the superintendent the function of specifying required actions of designing the regulations and detailed arrangements under which the schools operate. And then you read, it almost seems like it conflicts, because then you go to CHB and it says, read the next page. Nope. Go to that page. I wrote everybody's name on the back. Nope. Anyway, CHD says that the board,
Make rules and regulations.
for the district. So basically, if it's district-wide, it's ours, but if it's school specific, then it's the superintendent's and staff, I guess. So that's how I read it. The board delegates. Now, I don't think we have to, but in CHA we have. So if we want to get into the R's, then we probably also need to get ours on the building level, preschool level. And we probably also need to address CHA and see if it's appropriate. And I don't even know if we want to. I kind of like what she said. Just make our hit the broad points and then let the administration get down to the nuts and bolts. What do you think?
I am not reading the policy.
That's okay.
well, I would think the nuts and bolts are gonna be dictated by federal law and then our Ohio operating standards based off of federal law.
For the sped piece, yeah. And
Yeah.
then the job and family services piece is what dictates all the other higher price code that's like related to, it's in addition to open stuff for staffing, program setup, and how the peer models are developed.
Mhm.
So they kind of deal with the gen ed side of it.
So does that work with what we're trying to do here today? If we do we want to address both of them for now?
I would say, what are you guys gonna do?
Do whatever you want us to do.
I'd say let's look at both of them and then let's work at IGCG first and and hammer that out. And then why don't we just take notes for the IGCG-R and maybe treat them as like suggestions to hand off to Mr. Grove? Does that work, Ashley? Or would you rather address the other policies and just be able to do it? Or do you want to figure that out tomorrow? Just make our notes.
I'm not ignoring you.
So John, the IGCG is what goes in the board, is the board policy, is that what you're saying?
And
Yes.
R adds the specific
And R
regulations.
is how your policy
Nuts and
works
bolts.
at the district level with staffing.
Yes,
Okay, got it.
so let's take a look at IGCG policy. IGCG. Who wants to start off? Amanda, do you have, looks like you redline some things maybe.
Well, I was gonna ask, so when it talks about in the first line, where it talks about and homeless children, McKinney Vento is covered under anything that we touch, so I don't think we need homeless children. It could be students with and without disability, how I would word it.
Say that again, the last part,
I would just put it students with and without disabilities.
students. Yeah. Disabilities, yes, because McKinney Vento is broader than homeless, okay, in some ways. Okay, that's
Well,
line
and
one.
You're correct, it's already handled under.
What was that one?
We like family, Madison says that we needed to visit it, they have to bring their kids, they would have.
So would that be better be worded as like community engagement activities?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, then we can do whatever, whether it was like bookmobile night or.
Are you gonna get number?
So you
18?
scratched a few words. Actually, if you're doing that, why don't you just take a picture?
So are you just calling that community engagement activity?
So you're scratching field trips.
Is it community or would it be community and family engagement?
With a community, your family is in the community. So that's the English.
But
What if it's students, right?
the families are meeting their kids at, you're transporting kids.
No, the parents take the kids there.
We don't transport them at all, because like when we go to the zoo, we did on Friday, they met us there at a certain time.
Okay,
It was more like a play date.
so that really is a community, okay, I got it, I agree with you.
I think for the first, like, asking that question, I feel like the first year I did that, I had to get that, and I've never had to get it again. 19
Is there anything
years later.
left out of that thought as far as clarifying who transports you like that?
The only other question I have is the tuberculosis.
That would be like a
TB.
state.
I think it's still in the ORC.
Where
if I'm not
are you
mistaken.
And that might be under job and family services, the under 8. That's why I
They
think
just
that may be
cleared
something.
19 years ago, but had TV.
Right, not now.
I
My first year
think
teaching.
that's part of onboarding.
Is
Don't quote me. I may be wrong, but I do think that's part of you have to show that.
Immunization.
We should look that up.
Question on our health thing, we have to get signed by the doctor, but we only have to do it one person.
I mean, I wanna say that a million eons, 31 years ago, when I got hired under contract, I did have to show that I had a tuberculosis test, but I've never had to have one ever again,
Right.
which is kind of weird, because in Tennessee, you had to go do it every 5 years to show proof.
I didn't have one, but
You didn't?
I haven't had one since 2000.
So is this something that we need to
When
note?
you were first hired somewhere.
First hired somewhere, yeah.
Is there
Yeah.
something we need to note on the use of something about TB or? is that-
Well, the ORC that we cite in our policy does not say anything about it,
About what?
the tuberculosis.
Oh, I see.
I just pulled up the ORC.
I say we should probably,
It is more vague now, just about immunizations, not specific ones.
So then would we just hit stop after law and put period? That fourth and state law. And I ask because we're getting to an age where we are gonna start having kids who have not been vaccinated graduating college. And so this could create a huge non-vaxxer thing if I'm graduating college. And I don't.
can you see what the state law regarding immunization?
It just says that it requires that children participating in preschool programs have been immunized to the extent considered appropriate by the Director of Children and Youth to prevent the spread of communicable disease.
So
So
that
it's
talking about
it's
adults,
not about
not
the
about
staff.
staff.
So wouldn't it be simple,
Nothing.
wouldn't it be
That's
Nothing.
simple,
probably a huge gray area.
would it be
It's a
simple
very gray
just to
area.
reference the ORC? Would that be the easiest way?
I mean, that would be fine.
Children would be in compliance, children and staff or whatever it is would be in compliance with ORC. What is it, Ashley?
That one is 3301.53.
3301-5.
Yeah, that's why I said I pulled up. Yeah, 53. I pulled up the one we referenced, and it's changed since. That was probably wrote, I would imagine.
Compliance, okay.
Certain criteria set forth in state law. Excuse me, I'm so sorry, guys. State law, and then that covers kids and adults.
Very good.
Yeah, it doesn't. I'm not seeing anything about staff mandates.
So if you don't have anything that you all have any specific input, you just
Well,
Just
I'm
speak up.
showing, Maryland law does not require teachers or other school employees to be vaccinated against diseases, although it mandates immunizations for students. Schools may have local policies, but they're limited from mandating vaccines.
3301.531 is the tuberculosis screening testing of prospective employees.
That's where that is.
What's it?
Staff tests. It's not saying anything about the vaccine.
Do they fall under some of the child care rules? Well, under the child care rules from, my job and family services, they are required to be immunized against diphtheria, measles, mumps, rubella, and tetanus.
The kids or the adults?
The adults, yeah. So the same thing about tuberculosis.
Which law is that?
I don't know if that's the law.
Oh, this is tested for tuberculosis.
Yeah, this is tested.
Is that just tested accurate? You're just immunized, right?
That says immunized, whereas this
This
is
says
tested.
that these are the things they have to be immunized against.
Okay.
So then that would be where we would reference that down here.
How about we just say state and,
I was just
prospective
doing
employees
attendance
meeting
with
certain
state
criteria
law.
set forth in state law
Yep.
must be in compliance with, and then just list the 1, 2, 3, 4 ORC, does that work? Must be in compliance with, and then you don't have to be specific because it's outlined in the ORC. Do you think, I don't know, do you think?
I think that would be fine. I mean, the ORC trumps our policy, so.
Yeah.
In compliance with. Boom, boom, and then ORC. Yeah, we can use that, right? What else do we have?
So now we're just at all.
Is there anything else that you think needs specified in the initial preschool program? Anything that's left out from the old one that you think is needed?
I found it's 5180. And the forward, forward to. Let's see what it is.
And some of their stuff falls under high rise code and administrative code.
It's rule 5180.
Okay, yeah.
So they
Yeah, I
added a
think
clause
ORC
at some point, I just found it, that you only need to be tested for tuberculosis if you have lived in a area where it's having high burden of it and you've only been in the US for 5 years.
So then it's
There's very specific. I was really trying to find it.
Yeah, this
So
still
you
doesn't,
think
I was
adding-
too, this
I was like,
really doesn't
ORC
seem to.
5180?
And then you have to be tested, and then if you test positive, you have to do it.
Administrative code. Dash.
5180:2. I remember.
Administrative code. You got that, Ashley?
Which one?
So we're taking notes. They found an administrative code.
Yes.
Okay. So is that it for that?
Yeah, but it still doesn't speak to tuberculosis
Yeah.
at all.
So,
I was about to say.
Yeah. HR came up and-
So I went to 3701.146, which is really duties and powers regarding tuberculosis. They have their own ORC about it specifically.
Yeah, they give you some funny things, and it's crazy.
It used to be the World Times that they got you with.
Yeah.
I don't even know what they do.
so, so do we have teachers that also take advantage of this or should be able to take advantage of preschool?
What do you mean?
If you're
Yeah.
teaching their staff. Okay.
Yeah, so according to our contract, you want the
Okay, so-
contract language?
Are we excluding them accidentally? The Board of Education recognized the need to provide a preschool program to eligible children residing in the district, including preschool children with disability, which you're changing a little bit out of. And, yeah, we fixed that. And it's obtained a license to operate preschool program. State law. Okay, so I think in that opening sentence, we need to insert, beyond residing in the district, something to address staff children, correct, if they're not?
So.
I mean, do you need that because it's actually,
But I'm pretty sure in their
it's a
contract for,
contractual, it's a
Yeah.
contractual right,
Right, it's not.
Okay.
meaning it's a negotiated,
It's a free
it's a
benefit, like a
negotiated benefit.
No,
yeah,
I
because they can,
understand.
it's for preschool too.
Yeah, I just caught residing in the district, and I know that that provides an exception.
Children of union members. Because the rules are a little bit different for preschool.
I think we have language in our other policies. I think, matter of fact, we just reviewed a policy that addressed that. Oh, we were going through the thing we were outsourcing, right? And that had language in there for employees.
If you look on page 59 of the master
Yeah.
contract, specifically our unit members, R1 unit members' children, this is what was ratified between the board and GMLEA.
Do we want to cite that then at page 59, collective bargaining agreement?
I think so.
Or what, actually, what article is it under? Is it a page?
It's under.
Alright.
Yeah, I'm just looking to see all that. Because we're all the way up to ours. It's under Article 4. Supplemental contracts and other compensation.
Okay.
If you're looking at Article 4, R1, page 59.
And what's the, give me some of the language. I got the eligible.
I can tell you specifically, it says any preschool aged child for whom a unit member has legal custody at the request of the unit member may attend the Groveport, Madison local schools.
I
All
think that
peer,
works. Or how about the Board of
well,
Education?
it's only peer models because we put some exceptions the last couple negotiations ago. It just says all peer models must meet the screening requirements set forth by the district and unit members must pay tuition. The district is not able to accept special needs children of unit members who live outside the district due to federal and state requirements.
You have to go to your home school for that.
Well, because it's taking resources away. Notification must be made to the Director of Special Education by April 1, so that's different from school-age children, our date is May 10th.
So would that also apply to, do we know, does that apply to OPERS? OPC, whatever we call them?
Typically, what is ever offered to GMLEA, they also offer to our officers and our admin.
Okay, so what I wrote down initially is the Board of Education recognized the need to provide a preschool program to eligible children residing in the district, or eligible for unit number custody as outlined in unit number contract. Or contracts, and plural, since there's probably two. Does that work?
Yeah, I can tell you, non-certs do not have this language in their contract.
Okay.
We don't either as admin. It's kind of like the same thing as the healthcare.
Are you gonna open a can of worms by including that?
They always do. Oh, that?
Yeah.
Oh, this?
I just don't know if people will get mad at certain people have that.
I'm just trying to make sure it's inclusive, so nobody can point to this and say we're not doing it correctly.
Let me follow your train of thought.
Like you said the non-certified.
They
Don't
don't
have it.
have this language contract, but it is offered to them.
Oh,
as
it is the
well.
offer? Okay, I was
Yeah.
thinking we didn't offer it to them. People might get mad if we only offer it to some and not others.
Typically, whatever's offered in
Okay.
this is offered to the entire district.
Okay, good deal.
Works just like the healthcare.
And that could actually be a separate, we might need. I could just make it as simple as if or eligible through employment custody or something like that. We could make it even.
Employment benefits.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Eligible through employment.
We don't sign a contract with them.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes it so much less legal area. Okay. That's all looking for. All right, cool. Are we ready to roll into the more nuts and bolts then? The R, roll into the R. Lots of red lines and scribbles here. Okay. Amanda, you wanna do your thing since you seem to be on it?
I loved the changes because it made it easier, I think, for us to manage on a day-to-day if something changes major. Like if, for example, the fact that like we don't have a general education closet right now because we don't have space. Had we been on top of all of that, then we may have had to do some policy change right in the middle. The other thing is when all this red right here, this is stuff that's not mandated by us. So it can change at any given time.
Okay.
I mean, I kept the percentage that I feel will probably never change, just the numbers will change. So I kept it specific.
And they have it listed as two different things in the Ohio Revised Code for daycare. They have to do something. Even though it's on paper, it's kind of the same thing.
Does this look like what you're doing?
Like what are the classrooms look like? Number 3 is what I'm talking about. Yeah. So we've had number 1. Yes. Okay. Yeah, we've had all of these models. Yes. Okay. We have just not had as many years. Right.
Are the numbers, is there anything in here that you guys see as problematic that we need to correct? So,
And I think that we have to have all 3 of them, but we can offer if the option happens. So the way that we are designed on paper is to be integrated. But you can't be integrated if you don't have enough peer models. So like there are periods of or times of the day, like when we had 8 and 8 like we're supposed to, but then in the morning it's 8 to 6 because that's the only time the parents. The other thing that impacts the peer models is if we're full in the session that they want to be in, and they don't want to do the afternoon models, then they don't have to come. So that was the other piece of trying to make sure that one thing I want to work with Michael wants to make sure that we offer just both of the options instead of trying to fill up units first. Making sure that we offer both of the options.
so when you say 8 and 6, are you saying you're having deficiency in the peer model a little bit?
Yeah.
Just
So
common?
we're over. So we're sitting in 3, even though we're set up to be 2. We're hovering in 3 because of the last change that ratio.
Is it 6 peer model to 8 agency? You're supposed to equal.
I will say, what screener are we, all the your models?
We do the for dance,
Okay.
which is, so we have been using that also with our special needs students when they come through for their testing. This year they talked about changing that, but the school sites did. I don't know. We never changed it this year, so we're still doing the for dance. And we give that to them also, like when all the kids start, we have to give it to them at the beginning of the school year, so everybody gets the same for dance.
Because what I'm wondering is, because right now we have a lot of, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, we have a lot of their models that we end up using anyway. That does, that's happened. So like, when we talk about a screener, is there like something we need to use for socialization too, that would maybe get more kiddos that we're finding out later how those adapted?
Do you remember what the assessment they wanted to do? No, it was Amy and Kim. I feel like it's another being.
Is it bad?
No, that's looking for that. There was some assessment, but they wanted us to do that. They felt like it would dive more in, like for our special needs kids, to get a better picture of them. And maybe that's what we should also do, if that's what we're gonna switch to. I cannot.
We're looking at more of the social emotional,
I think it adds in to that.
the adaptive side, maybe the, necessarily adaptive developmental.
Yeah, that doesn't get to be in here anyway, but yeah, just making sure that because one of the things that I didn't love when I got here was that we put them out, well, we screen them out, we screen them out, we screen them out. Well, how are you screening them out? Like, what does it mean? I guess that's like, there's a portrait of a graduate, right? Like, portrait of a peer model. Like, what do we want those kids to look like and do? We can't say that you have to do body training, but we would like them to be body trained. Because to me, when my kid when they were trying to put her in special preschool, the irony is she kept falling into peer model and not because she had the other skills, she just didn't have a hand. Like, so that was, I just want to make sure that when we're talking about that in general, that we know what we're screening them for and with, so that it doesn't look like we didn't want your kids. That was some of the stuff that came back. My first factor was that they felt like we didn't. Nobody could explain to them when we're there what they had in it. If that makes sense. Yes.
Yes, with my son, was a peer model. And we only paid $50.
My daughter was a peer model, and now my son's
And
not.
he's 24 years old, so that tells you everything. But he ended up with an IEP because of his epilepsy.
Okay.
So I think these early interventions are important, even for peer models, because a lot of times those interventions sometimes mitigate the other stuff. I mean, he's a neurotypical.
Well, if you look at the research, it shows
Yeah.
that doing the preschool, you catch a lot more stuff early on and save money long term with it.
Well, pre-K 1-2 is all of that developmental time, and if we're not intervening then, all the brain research shows that if we're not front loading all of our interventions pre-K 1-2, when the brain is developing, when it's growing the fastest, when we can close gaps the quickest, by the time they get to third grade, you start seeing a huge decline in being able to close learning gaps. So if we're not getting it then, the chances of really closing the learning gaps becomes much smaller. So if we can really start looking at all of these early interventions and really provide all the opportunities possible to allow preschoolers of this district the opportunity to start learning and for us to start closing gaps and doing that in K-1-2, I think that's why we will continue to receive these awards, because we are doing what we're supposed to do.
Yes.
My poor preschool
So-
doesn't know how to break up.
Well, there's lots out there, like
You
Columbus
guys
City
have-
does
But
special
most kids-
Olympics and stuff, and has stuff through like the Y and stuff where they come in and help in the preschool at Columbus City to help with the kids. They have a lot of very neat programs. Like they have a pure program where they have parents that have had kids with special needs that come in and walk you through the process when you're just getting started. So you're not having to bombard you as the teacher with all the questions. You actually have another person that went through it and can guide you.
Yeah.
Through the process.
So if you don't have any notes specific to this,
Sorry,
what do you think, you want feedback on what the tuition should be set at?
when you did your research, what did you find?
You found like 100 to 125 was more.
Well, when we bumped it to the 200 or 250, whatever it was, for the half day, we were one of the higher ones in our area. But when we were at 50, we were way below. So I thought, personally, looking at the neighboring districts and like districts, it'd be like 100 to 125. But I don't know how much pushback we get.
We're gonna get pushback, I think, at all. Because it's been just before so long.
But didn't we move it up to 100 and then do the 200?
Last year it was 100, and then this year they were gonna move it up to the 200.
The 100 wasn't a problem, right?
That's what I was trying to figure out. If we,
That was the only pushback we got was from somebody who had it here 1 year and then they were gonna be in the program again. Most of the times our peers are there
only
for
1 year.
1 year and then they go to kindergarten, but we happen to have one who was there for multiple years. So that was some pushback that they were grandfathered in, so it worked out fine.
And how many participants do we have?
Their models,
Oh, how many paying participants do we have?
the paying percent for all peer models. Last I looked, it was 61.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
And that's both, that's total, that's both.
No, that's just
No,
here. That's
here.
just the
We
here.
need
No, sure, I meant,
You can't.
But
you
yeah,
have morning,
AM and
afternoon,
PM,
right?
yeah,
AM,
yes.
PM, that's what I meant, yeah.
Total bodies during the whole program.
So we're really, as far as the district goes, we're splitting hairs. I mean, we're talking big range, right? We're not talking big money to the district at all. So maybe,
I mean, this isn't going to make you money.
no, it's not gonna make or break what the program at all. What if we just did like 75 and then 100? Like, step up, or you think we should just jump 50 to 100?
Oh,
Like
I don't care.
1 year you do 60, 75, and next year you go to 100, so it's not a doubling. But I thought, I was thinking this was big money. When
What
I
if
was
you
thinking
almost-
about it,
What if you almost did, I don't know, just spitballing. There are some kids who do need to spend multiple years. What if they started at higher rate and then you drop them down for each year additional to what they have to spend there? That seems like it might be something a little more palatable to some of our parents who need to spend, their child needs to spend at least 2 years. Just spitballing that.
Do we have a lot of kids that do multiple years?
Like a small handful.
Okay.
And really, it's age based. Like,
Okay.
unless we have a parent who really, like, wants their child to do it a second year for whatever reason, typically they're coming in because their kiddo is about to go to kindergarten and they want this 1 year of preschool under their belt before they leave.
What if we opened it to, what is it currently, 4-year-olds be up here?
Yeah.
What if we did 3-year-old and made them potty trained? 'Cause my daughter did preschool at another facility and then came to Groveport when she was allowed.
You can't,
We're allowed to
it's
say they have
against
to
the
do
law.
Well, I'm
for
just-
them to be potty
Yes.
trained. I'm not,
We know
even- we're not even allowed to do that school age.
Really?
There is a federal law that is,
Because when I sent my daughter to preschool, it was way more money than here. I sent her to David Lutheran and it was
yeah, my
like
kids
4
started
times as much
Messiah
in Groveport.
Christian. But I will tell you, my son got a better learning program coming to Groveport and being in our preschool program. And Messiah Christian was great, but Groveport preschool was better.
The savings on this isn't in the tuition, it's the transporting. That's what- If they didn't walk it under, then that's, I guess to me that makes more sense. It shows, because the other piece of this too is the reality piece, right? Like we are in financial.
Mhm.
So if we don't increase it, then what does that say? If I'm a parent, well, why, you need money now, but you didn't increase this, or you didn't think, you know, because this is gonna get lumped into pay to play fees and all, or pay to participate fees and all that kind of stuff too. So personally, I would just do the 100, knowing that it's 100, but I wouldn't label it. And then that would be what we publicize. What if they
want transportation, and so then it's like 150. If you
Could
want
that be an option?
is that an
Like,
option? Is
If
that,
they needed transportation and it appears there was an additional cost for that.
I'm gonna say that's not a me question.
I don't think legally you probably be able to do that.
I don't think so either.
I don't know for certain,
Yeah.
but I can't imagine that'd be.
Okay, and I'm thinking about the cost of it, right? Like the cost to start the bus is the most expensive cost. So would it be, now, I don't think that I think we could get Teresa on board with if they have a sibling who is a peer model. If you're already going there to pick them up, why would you not pick them up? But that would be like a one-off conversation, I would think. But I think the cost of putting the bus out there is bigger.
What is your transportation cost, for this program?
I'd have to look, Adam has it, Teresa gave it to him.
When did you start transporting
when we
peer models?
because
Okay.
there wasn't there for schools and it was,
Gotcha.
there's no parking
Okay.
because it's busy.
Yep.
You know,
I know.
it's busy. And so it was, that's why they put it on here is because of like parking and space and to try to help keep people not blocking the warehouses, driveways, and then they get mad at us.
Okay, that makes sense.
I do think you should just go with the staff for the BFD, not parking that front lot. They just park in the back. There's space, there's space.
Districts do that. Dublin does it, Owen Kansas does it. They do have it. We're not required to transport peers, so we can charge an additional fee up to the actual cost. But we can charge them for peers. But I don't know that if you're having trouble getting peers, I don't know if you want to put them on the list.
I don't know that it's necessarily we have trouble getting here, but there's no advertising.
That's what I'm about to say.
Our
They need to
district
be
doesn't
more
have-
vocal about it.
They talk about kindergarten registration on, the Facebook page and
Right.
there's nothing, preschool's never even mentioned.
Right. And there's a lot of, so here's, my
Well, they
wife,
stopped joining.
my wife was a nurse for 40 years until she couldn't live people anymore, and then she went to childcare. She was preschool. There are 140 preschools in a few miles. If you go over to Columbus Square and that little Yankee shopping center, literally daycare, empty place, daycare, empty place, daycare. It's just everywhere. So you have
There's a
to-
difference
because
between the
there's a difference-
daycare and the preschool.
No, I'm just saying, they call themselves preschool, but my point is you are competing against them. You have to advertise.
Well, you're correct. I mean, these childcare programs are advertising that they offer preschool programs. Now, I'm gonna tell you right now, not every preschool program is equal.
No.
And we can tell you which ones are doing a pretty bang up job with the staff that they have versus having
You've got money.
highly educated, licensed educators providing the better providing the better program.
Yeah, you can tell the difference in the licensing.
We just need to go back to being better about our advertising. Like we were very good about it years ago, but we had kindergarten roundup. Everybody knew come March, oh, it's time to register for preschool. It's time to register for kindergarten. We used to do pre-screeners. And kindergarten roundup was about doing early screening because we were able to tell parents, we were able to have conversations about we flagged kids.
Yeah.
We are concerned. A lot of parents then could then start processes of they needed to talk to family doctors about this is what they said they saw, or this is what you
I mean,
should
our
work on
preschool
this
program
summer.
is, unless it's changed, Miss Zero. When I enrolled my daughter 4 years ago, I had to call Roberta, come and get paperwork, go home, fill it out, bring it back, give it back to Roberta, go through the interview process. Like it wasn't even online. Like it was like pulling teeth to get it even done, which I think is also some of the issues. Like if we could make it more in the 21st century and it's available online.
It is.
It is
now. That's what I said. 4 years ago, it was not.
Yeah, it
Here's
is
the
now.
problem with online though. The online is great, and for most families, it's perfect. But when you're looking at a lot of our clientele who we have non-English speaking families, trying to maneuver through through the online because you have to see the English first to even be able to click on your language. We used to do roundups in our buildings, and you had staff that were willing to stay and help families get registered. And I know when I speak to my kindergarten peers, they're willing to do that stuff again. We're willing to do that. We're willing to have those conversations. We'd like to have, we used to have, and I know because I did transition from preschool to kindergarten meetings at little cruisers. I would tell them this is what you can expect coming to kindergarten. So, I would do a little program, I put on a little thing and do a Q&A, and I was always willing to do that. So I believe you have primary teachers, early childhood teachers who are always willing to do, I'm not volunteering you guys, but we're always willing to do more because we know that's what's needed.
Of course.
Even though it's not our job, but we want as many kids as we can get because we want them ready to be learners and grow, to be as successful as they can be.
But Kim just brought up an issue that I've already talked to Casey about, is there's been a lot of tension around enrollment. And because what happened was we were used to enroll people and then we'd have to re-enroll them anyway through final forms as kindergartner. And so when Roberta left, it was just Jamia. The big question became like, is that a function that is still needed? And right now we're not having it because they just enrolled as kindergartners the next year anyway. There was no benefit per se of having Roberta do a paper packet and do all that. And she even said before she left herself that has become more and more hard to get parents to do because they don't want to take off work to do all that, do all those things. But on the flip side, while we have it, it's going through enrollment now. And my understanding from meeting with Jamie today is that it should be staying that way. It also comes into the have some issues in enrollment, to be very transparent. So like, for example, enrollment has been telling everybody they're not doing any enrolling until June.
Yeah, they went to that a few years ago,
And
which is crazy.
I got nothing. So then that created some conversation of, well, in my world, you can't say we're not enrolling you till June because my timeline starts ticking immediately. And so there's stuff that I will say that might get better because he wants to work on that very specifically. So the enrollment piece I think will get better, but we do need some conversation to happen around the enrollment piece of what do you do when you have people come in that speak different languages. Because right now they're just using Google Translate on their phone, which is not accurate per se. And I feel like in some respects we need to go watch somebody else's enrollment procedures or something and see how they work with all the different parts of like preschool, all those different things. Maybe see how other people do it.
Well, we have the assist that we can call that we use when we are speaking to parents in the building, when we're doing conferences or meetings. It takes 2 minutes to get on the phone and get an interpreter, but you can also go to Amazon and get this wonderful little handheld. It's this big, and it's a dual conversation. You just click the language that the two of you are going to be speaking. You hold it when it's your turn, and you talk your normal talk, and then the parent, it replays it in their language. They can read it and they hear it, and then they respond back. You can see it as you hear it back in your own language. It's $75, Amazon.
Yeah, but if you can go back.
We bought a couple of those for our building and we use them.
You don't have to spend $75, but you can just go like back in the Old Testament and get the Holy Spirit. They did that back then in the Bible. So. No? Okay, sorry.
No, John, but that was fun. I got it.
So, what are we under capacity? Where are we with capacity?
We're at capacity with sped kids, under capacity with peers here.
How many?
Most of us have, I would say,
I have like
between
4 in each
between
class.
3 and 5 in each class period, and we can have up to 8.
So we're talking 12 kids? 20
Oh, no,
kids?
we have 8 classrooms. So you're basically talking about if the full capacity, so 8 times 2 times 8.
We could have 64 per session peers,
Okay.
and we have, let's say,
64
if,
total.
yeah, 64 total. If everybody had 4, which we don't, then we're talking 32. We're like at half, but probably less than half. For some, you know, with my morning, I only have 3 peers, and somebody else may only have 2.
So are you saying you have additional space for another 64 or another 32?
32 in the morning and 32 in the
So
afternoon.
we're,
Yeah,
we have,
approximately,
we
yes.
have 64.
Yeah,
Now,
yes,
do you
yeah.
have peers that are doing both?
We don't have the ability to offer them a nap
Right, that's
or
right. You
offer
can't do
lunch.
lunch. Yeah. Oh, wow,
What these-
that's a lot.
Well, I don't know if you don't think so.
So how do you think, I mean, I know I'm getting off subject here, but how do you think they feel at the street?
We need to
I
be
think
better
we
at
need to tell
advertising, and
people.
we can't make registration begin June 1.
I mean, my district back home just posted pictures of this incredible preschool and kindergarten registration, and they had red carpets, and the school mascot was there, and they had a giant pencil, and the kids were signing saying they're coming to kindergarten or
Yeah.
So
preschool.
you gotta get, you take care of the
There's
horse,
nothing.
you take care of getting cruisers.
I think we just need to get people more excited.
Yeah.
Like we need to get out there and talk, like explain to the parents that it's best to get your kid in our preschool because it gets you the next step into kindergarten. Like,
And we
it's a
need
whole-
like parents who've been through it, talking about it on social media and like talking about what a great program it is. And people don't, I don't
When
think they
should
realize.
registration start?
March.
April is the latest.
Yep.
If you look around in our
So
neighboring,
we're already behind.
It's already.
we're way behind.
Yeah.
If you're looking at, and here's the problem, John. It hurts us as far as being able to predict what our kindergarten enrollment numbers are going to be because we are waiting till June 1. So then what also happens is you've now bombarded the enrollment system. There's only so many people in enrollment to then decide if they are accepting everything in final forms. We have heard from parents that if there's something that bumps them out of final forms because they haven't finished a part, guess where it bumps them to? It doesn't put them in another slot that says they're just missing these pieces. It bumps them all the way to the bottom behind people who are newly enrolling. We've had kids who've started this process, and parents get upset about this, have started this process in August or in June when they're supposed to. Come August when we're starting, they're still not enrolled, so here's now what's happening. We assess our first 3 days in kindergarten, that's how we set our class list. So if they're not here for assessments, we're not assessing them to equally mix our classes.
So
And some of them are starting 2 and 3 months later, even though they started in June. So we do have to have better systems and processes in place. But if you're allowing our preschoolers and our kindergartners to start enrolling in March, A, we can project better what our numbers are going to look like. And B, they're not getting
They
bogged
wanted to
down
know
in the
earlier
whole,
last year, didn't they?
no.
But see,
Because no, Raymond was in your class, and I had to talk to Roberta because they had him
Preschool.
going to kindergarten, and he wasn't of age to go to kindergarten.
Preschool they allowed, but they kept the kindergartners at June 1 because they don't want to
Oh.
work 2 systems.
so, but it sounds like we're finding things that need put in here. This is our enrollment timeframe should be in here, and capacity should be in here. Advertising goals should be in here.
Well, your capacity is a sticky situation because it can change based on how many classrooms you have. So you don't want to put a
You don't want to put
specific
that
number.
capacity in.
No, I'm saying a policy as simple as our goal is to meet capacity of peers or whatever. I mean, it doesn't have to be specific. I'm just saying we have things in here we want to address.
I think you kind of say that though already, correct me if I'm wrong. I think you already say that with 1, 2, 3. That's kind of your capacity.
Yes.
That's how I interpret it.
Okay.
But I don't
But no, because
disagree.
1, 2, and 3 can work for you or they can work against you. If you're identifying percentages, but nothing in here says it is our goal to utilize our capacity, utilize our facilities to the fullest, or something like that, where we're trying to say, look, not only are we maintaining these ratios, but we would like these ratios to get up to close to or near our ability or capacity. we're not.
The ratios are the ratios, they don't change.
Right.
So what if we added a line like,
I see what you're saying, you could add a line.
yes, like the district's goal is to make sure that we build the word, word I'm gonna use is build.
Awesome.
I personally hate the capacity on it. Schools are I'm just being
Ah.
honest.
I
Just
would use
being
the word
honest. Like,
capacity.
I don't like it.
I personally don't
Yeah.
like putting capacity on there because so many more of our schools are over capacity. So we're kind of saying, I just don't like that.
Whatever we said our goal is to.
We want
utilize-
them to be equitable, but
You know what I'm trying to say with that.
no,
I'm like,
I don't like the word capacity. I agree. You said
How
it.
about if you said, our
And then
goal is to utilize, the preschool facility, oh man, I just got it.
The school's potential.
Fullest extent possible. Allowable.
Yeah, I like allowable. That also encompasses like fire code and the 800 different agencies.
Allowable. Unusual. Just allowable. I agree with you.
I like allowable itself because, like, for example, if we have a special needs group of kids, I would love to be in a place where I could be like, no, we're only gonna make him like 7 because that one kid is like 1.5 and we know he's really like 1.5. Like, so I like allowable better because that gives us flexibility long term on what we know the makeup of those classes are.
So it's allowable, you know, capabilities?
I would say allowable.
I would say fullest extent allowable.
Extent. Okay. Good. And then we don't have anything in here about enrollment dates or enrollment processes, right?
I don't know if I would put dates on enrollment because like they just changed the kindergarten readiness or the kindergarten timeline randomly in Ohio and not everybody has the same one, whereas we.
You could do it no later than.
We also
I mean,
accept
you
peers
definitely
throughout
don't,
the school
you
year,
definitely don't want it to be June 1.
No, but we also accept peers all year long.
We,
So
we
as we-
assess peers throughout the
Okay.
school year if we have space. So peers could start in March if, right.
If somebody new moved in or they moved in, they need.
especially the preschool because they all started. at
They're,
the same time.
yeah, they're a little bit different from kindergarten.
Do you want any language for enrollment or just want to know that you're going to take care of it?
You're always enrolling, you just want to be better in advertising.
So in our role, we'd advertise better and then the enrollment piece, I think is gonna solve itself once Casey comes on board and we have some conversation about how that enrollment is gonna work.
So what does advertising mean? Yeah, I know what it means, but what does it mean here? How does it work? Is that our communications department? Is that Facebook? What does it mean?
I think it's all of it.
I think it's a lot of different things.
I
Like
think
my school that I went to does a partnership with like the Safety Town.
Yeah.
That piggyback Safety Town and preschool and all together to get people excited for both preschool and kindergarten. They do a big thing similar to the pencils and stuff that gets the community out there. They do weird things with like candy, ice cream, whatever, to get people out there with their families.
I'll do whatever we ask them to do. Okay, so that's not the issue at all. Like if I went to Ty and said, hey, can you make me, can you make us a video of these parents and these teachers, whatever, and be able to play it on repeat online for, well, you know, why you should choose a little preschool with your typical kid or whatever. We will do that. He just needs to know that that needs to happen. I don't have a problem sending him out to do that at all.
Yeah.
It just needs to be there. What I'm used to is having been in charter management, you're always trying to get kids in because you only make money for that kid. So it was never like a one and done. It was always like we had like a calendar and this was the type of marketing we did in this month and this was the type of marketing. So I think that we just need to be mindful of that and work with Ty to create something and get it going. And then that way it shouldn't matter who is in charge of what because it should be standardized.
So,
You could do it without Ty and
Just
possibly
she
have
put
the
on the
elementary
word
school
wall,
PTOs.
Oh, got it. Yeah, no, I got cold. I'm saying to get it posted and stuff though.
Thought that was.
Well, like if they
disappeared.
PTOs or
Put it
PTAs,
on my
like,
wall though.
which
Word
elementary
wall.
or
Like,
PTO?
yeah.
Because the PTOs and PTAs, like Groveport Elementary has 30,000 in the bank. Like we have a lot of money from our PTOs and PTAs that could do like a family fun day for both kindergarten and preschool at the same time to get people excited, have our staff there. Plus it's not being put on by the district, so it's saving us money. But I know Dumbo would do it. I'm pretty sure your was. Groveport would. So we could do that and do it somewhere like that's what they want to do. So that'd be perfect for them, I think.
We have digital signage.
I mean, you could always do it like Degenhard Park or
Yeah,
one of the
exactly.
local parks. We could have tables set up. They could.
Does
Yeah.
The rec center would
I'm
probably
or
would
the
do it.
rec. I'm always willing to come volunteer for
Does
stuff.
advertising or outreach belong here?
I don't think we're there right now.
I don't think I wouldn't.
I wouldn't put it in there because you don't know what people are gonna want to do or
Okay. Well, then, we have nothing to add to R besides what's already been. Is that true? You don't have anything specific?
No, I thought you got this something to ours.
I did add the,
You have the.
We're not for the amount. I'm
No.
not for
what's that?
the amount.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, yeah. Then I wouldn't.
we have the ability to charge more for beer. It could be 100 and 150 if you have to, if it's a pier that needs transported, but I'm not.
No, I like what you have in the yellow. I think that's
But
that's what it should say.
regardless, it's not, whatever our transportation cost is, which I'm curious about, we're not gonna cure that for $50 a kid. Because we're probably not transporting that many of our peers, right?
For a lot.
there's like 4 buses there.
5 buses.
Is it
No,
5?
I'm saying the cost is up here, but even if we can 30 kids and we're capturing $50, we're not offsetting that in a meaningful manner. I'm saying the cost is gonna be up, but we're not able to charge enough to the students.
Where does the money go from here?
It goes into the.
I was just curious. I honestly don't know.
I don't know where it goes per se, but I know that there is a fund that it goes to. I know that it does, I get none of it for special ed, that delineated.
We get none of it as a building.
Yeah, and I don't think, but my guess would be it's the general fund.
I would
It
think.
was only $30,000 or something. When this all first came up and Kathy had.
What was 30,000?
I wanna say that the income that we made was only like $30,000. Because at the beginning of the year, when we were talking about this, and then Kathy had all those questions she had us answer,
Right.
we answered all the questions, and all of that is in this.
How many months are we collecting this? The 100 or
Do
150?
you
It
don't
started
get any of
from
that put into
September
your
to May.
budget to use at all?
We don't really have much of a budget.
Most of the funds would come from me, and I don't know.
I'm wondering why you don't get any. Now, I get that it's right to put it in the general fund, but once it goes in the general fund, it's kind of earmarked for whatever. You can't really mess with stuff in the general fund. So I would think you should at least get a portion of that to be able to put back into your program. Especially since,
So, let me say this, Adam and I sat down and did the books for all the different line items. One line item that they do get, that I will say is heavier, pre-K 3, is the equipment line item. Because the amount of extra related services that preschool kids get, and then the amount of SLCs. Because they start aging out, or getting released out of OTP, it's like 3rd grade and then they start aging. So that grading, it gets more money on that piece. But if they wanted something, like there's, basically they have to, if they want something, they do the same thing as their team would do. Which is, oh, hey, Maggie, or hey, Michael, or hey, Sam, or hey, Mandy, I want this, can we do this? And then I go to
I
Adam,
need this piece of equipment.
and then I go to Adam. And if I mean, he's not told me no on anything if I can show him savings in someplace else. But he can't give us money.
So do we need to frame the monthly cost in here? How we're moving that? Because it says that the board will approve it, but are we framing the monthly cost in here anywhere?
I wouldn't. I was just gonna leave it.
I think
As
what you
the
have in
variable
yellow,
amount.
John, is all you need.
I would say that at one of our next board meetings, we would have to approve the tuition of $100.
Yeah, I just thought if we're getting feedback and we have it, that would save the board this a huge long conversation. If you all think it should just be 100, or if you think we should do 100 and 150 if it's transported,
That's a bigger conversation, I think, because that is gonna be a whole different department, a whole different line item. Because if Teresa's not gonna transport them, then that's gonna cut that down drastically.
Are we trying to go to no transport appears?
I don't know, that wasn't in my line items or
Yeah.
things to suggest for cuts, so I don't know what,
I
I haven't
think
seen
if
any
you
of
do
it.
that, you're gonna see less people.
Right, I think that would really hurt.
You're already transporting, you might as
Are
well
the
stick them on the
buses,
bus.
are the buses full when they're full?
Some are fuller than others.
Yeah.
but they're not.
You might be able to consolidate.
You're right, that's,
Yeah.
a lot of times you'll find there's ways to do that. Okay, well, I think, is there anything you think we need to do beyond what we've covered?
I don't think so.
Appreciate y'all coming out very much.
Thank you again for letting us have a seat at the table, we really appreciate it.
Good stuff. All right, so, you see where we are with the agenda. with the-
Throwing on me.
Okay.
Throwing on me.
And we,
Yeah, that does not. I brought the
it's just
regular
even
meeting,
have a
just leave
thing
on
that's
the stage.
advertised just to use. Are they busing or not busing?
No, correct.
Correct.
No, right.
There's a discussion of next policy or policies to review
Yes, so.
and a future meeting schedule.
So, I think the next thing, we already were touching on, it's not relevant to this exact thing, but I think the next thing we really need to look at is, policy for transportation. We have a policy, for walking distance, which is currently set at half a mile.
Well, I'm pretty certain we have to update our policy for kindergarten too. Like that is, might have passed when we were supposed to do that
Kindergarten policy.
for the date.
Oh, yeah, the new birthday cutoff.
Oh, that's
Oh, I thought,
that's gonna hurt us so badly.
no, I think we did that. I'm pretty sure I saw that.
No, we did the other
We
one.
just did first read,
We didn't even do a first read of it.
because I saw the date, what is the new date?
We
We
talked
talked
about it
start
at
of
this meeting,
the-
at this meeting. in
Oh,
April.
The date is the first day of school. But then you can take children all the way up to January 1, younger than 5, or younger than the 5 with,
They have to,
assessment.
yes.
Yeah, it's the early entrance.
But there's also another part where they can then request even after January 1 for assessment. I mean, they just opened a whole bag of worms.
Oh, it's gonna be.
Oh, we're
all-
talking about assessment, but like, is it changing, like, the age that I could start?
The entrance date
Yes.
across Ohio is any school district's first day of school, they must be 5.
Well,
No,
let me say
that's what I'm
this,
telling you.
there's a caveat too, there's a workaround.
Because there's certain testing or,
Well, so that's the legal workaround. That is, if you want your kid tested for early entrance to kinder, then you have to contact the district and all that, and that goes through Gifted and Teaching and Learn.
okay,
Now, the other thing is though, that once somebody starts school and they have an EMIS identity,
they have a what?
and they have an identity with the state. So like, brand new kid, here's your fancy number from the state of Ohio, because you went to a charter school that started school on August 1st. Well, your kid doesn't turn 5 until August 10th, and then Groveport starts school on August 20th. So if I really wanted to come to Groveport, I can just start my charter school anyway. You have to.
They do that now. They
I
do
know.
that now.
Yeah.
It's a disaster.
Okay, all right.
Yes, but I do not believe we've done a first read of that policy as of yet.
My oldest kid, my entrance into Groveport was ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. For kindergarten was not good.
Well, they shouldn't be starting school at 5 when,
No, they assessed, and he was 4, and he turned 5. I mean, he's not even a late birthday. He was July or June, or August. He was an August birthday. But they tested him way early, and it's well, he's so bright, he's so ahead, but emotionally he tested as a 4-year-old. And I'm like, that might be because he's a 4-year-old.
That's the state
then-
though, that's
it's
the
never,
state
it's
requirement.
And then they're like,
what
then
they
they're like, we wanna put
academically
him.
can do, it's about where they're at developmentally. And when you look at what kindergartners have to do, even 5-year-olds are not ready to do it because developmentally they can't. So in reality, and here's the other thing, you know, if they have attendance issues, they don't go to truancy because they legally do not have to be in school until age 6. So guess what happens for an entire year? They are truant, they're truant, they're truant,
Oh, no, we had that come today.
and they set themselves up for failure because they haven't had a good year of learning.
So mine went, I don't want to get into that, but
Well, I
You
think
went-
if,
it was like-
if
it was
six is the magic age, then 6 should be the age we start kindergarten.
Yeah.
Which I will tell you, a 6-year-old is much more able to handle the curriculum they have to be able to handle as opposed to a young 5. And now we're possibly gonna be having 4-year-olds starting kindergarten. It's gonna be a disaster.
Next year, you know it, yeah, I do.
I would.
If you look statistically, most of our young 5s end up spending another year in kindergarten because they weren't ready to handle everything.
Or they end up deficient in credit. Because they don't have coping skills.
No, he was the opposite. He was bored out of his brain. He like came on the second week. He was like, I'm done.
Academically, it's never about the academics, it's about everything else.
And then they wanted to do the housing and move them up 3 grades.
And everything always works itself out in the wash by 3rd grade because they don't typically look that ahead anymore.
So the early interest in kinder has requirements, so like part of the consideration is size even. Do they have siblings? I mean, there's so many little pieces and caveats to that. you
My
have to
niece
consider.
could read to you going into kindergarten. They didn't want her going in early because of how small she was, and she was not socially adapted yet because she'd never
Okay,
been
well,
in school.
anyway, I'm sorry I took this off, but, kindergarten policy, transportation, walking distance policy, we'll look at those. If they don't already get presented to us before. And then future meeting dates, we have not yet set schedule. We will just make it. I don't know that Monday before board meetings are necessarily ideal. What do you?
This one was just because people wanted to be here, so I wanted to do it for the preschool.
No, I'm not
I'm
complaining. I'm not
ready to
complaining.
leave.
It
I'm like,
wasn't-
their last
it
day of
wasn't
school is
a problem.
Thursday, we should probably get this
I'm not
going.
complaining, I'm just saying if we're making it, if we want to make a schedule, what do you want it to be? What works for you?
And I'm very happy to keep participating if you want to keep.
Thank you. And is evenings best? No, I think it is for Ashley.
Depends on my
As far as
day.
getting school participation and doing this kind of thing, what do you have a thought?
I thought this time worked fine.
Okay.
I wouldn't go past 6 though.
No.
You want to do the 4th Tuesday of the month?
Yeah.
That way it's not overlapping or too close to board meetings.
Tuesday of the month. And you want to keep it 6 o'clock?
That should be fine, I think, if that works for everyone.
Yeah. All
Are
right.
you doing this through the summer as well?
I don't know. I think so. I think we're way behind. If we really want to work, I really want to work through our policies and find.
Well, I'm gonna say, I will be in Iowa for most of the summer, so I'm more than happy to meet virtually with you all.
Okay.
Just let me know and I can get on.
We'll have to talk to Nate, because we tried to do that with the parental advisory committee before, and they said we cannot do that.
We're not allowed to meet virtually.
They said we could not do it. That was before I was on the board, so I don't know the
This is
rationale
a-
behind it.
this is a public meeting.
We did it virtually before, during COVID.
We're gonna use the don't ask, don't tell policy. Right,
We call that ask for forgiveness rather than.
yeah. There we go. All right, so. If there's nothing else, anybody have any? All right, I would move that we adjourn.
And I'll work by and get some things and send it over. One reason I do love Ryan is that like he is really great and wants to do these things. And so send me over.
Yeah, it's been very informative. I appreciate you guys coming in.
I appreciate you letting us be here.
Good morning.